Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. If you watch the show very often, you know I like to talk about real estate. I'm very excited to have some folks here to do that. Today, from RE/MAX Associates, I have Don and Kathy Valle. And then from Republic Mortgage, Wayne Kelley. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us.
Absolutely. Happy to have you here. One of the first and foremost questions that I want to know is, tell me about the real estate market in Park City as it stands right now. We know things are certainly on the upswing, but give me a kind of a synopsis of what things are like.
Well, in summary, obviously the Park City market is recovering and healing, and it's very, very healthy. Best probably a way to describe that would be comparing some of the sales numbers. And last year we sold a total of 2,200 homes in our market compared to almost 800 in '09. So the market certainly is improving quite a bit.
Well, that's good news, isn't it?
Yes.
I'd like to hear that. Are there places that are particularly hot right now? Places that people really want to live up here?
Well, I think Kathy did some research on that.
Yeah, the stats for last quarter showed that Old Town is the hottest market right now. We're selling one property every 5 days, and I believe it's increased about 38% in the past couple of years in sales. So, hot market. There are certainly other hot markets as well. But like everything in a community, it's best just to talk to a real estate professional to find out what's going on in that particular neighborhood, because it is different for every neighborhood. Lower Deer Valley, Upper Deer Valley is completely different from Old Town, but Old Town is the hottest right now.
One of the things I know a lot of people get concerned about, and I think we're fairly safe here, but let's ask the question anyway, play devil's advocate. Is there any kind of a bubble that is growing again, or are we in a situation where, and it seems that growth is nicely paced and things are where they should be?
Well, I'll pick up on that, and Wayne, you can fill in on it. I think when we compare to the early bubble of the early 2000s, that was fueled primarily by very, very liberal renting. Lending and mortgages. And so today, lending is very, very conservative, yet we're recovering. Inventory is coming down. Sales are going up. So I think this is more of a natural recovery. We have a certain amount of pent-up demand because people have not been buying homes for quite a few years for a lot of reasons, economic reasons, and that is behind us now. So I think it's more of a natural recovery.
Which is important, because if we don't have that, then things get, they grow too fast, interest rates rise too quickly, people don't feel like they've missed the boat, and so suddenly it sort of stumbles on itself. We sort of trip a little bit. Would that be a good way of putting that, Wayne?
Absolutely. As Don mentioned, the 2000s, we saw a lot of very liberal loan products, you would say, and as we got into the mid-2000s,
you just had to have a breath pretty much to get a loan, right?
Yeah, things got pretty crazy in the mid-2000s, and stated income and negatively amortizing loans. All those products are gone from the market today. So now we're back to conservative underwriting. You have to qualify for the loan. You have to show your ability to repay that loan, and banks are scrutinizing everything in the transaction these days.
Is it out of the reach of people because of that now? Are there people that just can't touch it?
No, not at all.
550 and below, or it's like, sorry, you're not getting a house?
No, not at all. There's still, if you're an entry-level buyer, there's still first-time buyer programs, 100% financing available in this market through the USDA program. So there's still a lot of great options out there for buyers that are trying to enter the home buying market with FHA, USDA, and VA loan programs. So there's still great options out there for that buyer that's looking to purchase that first home for sure.
Absolutely. One question, of course, would be this. As soon as I know somebody at home just said this right now, well, do you really think I could buy a first home in Park City? Is that a possibility?
Absolutely. They may not buy their dream home
right
initially out of the box. That's what a lot of first-time buyers have to come to grips with. You're looking to buy that first home, get into the marketplace, build some equity over time, and then move up over the years.
So you might be over the junction, you might be a little further away at first,
correct,
and that might be your starter home. That's a transitional area,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. You may have to, look out into the county a little bit further, and not right in Park City in the resort community, but plenty of options out there for that first-time buyer for sure.
That's awesome. One of the things I wanted to talk about too is the demand, supply-demand here in Park City. Tell me how that's playing out right now. We kind of got into that just a little bit, but let's expand a little there.
Well, I think the the best explanation to that is inventory and month supply of inventory.
Okay.
And so a normal balanced market nationally is considered somewhere between a 5 to 6 month supply of inventory,
Okay.
meaning we have 5 or 6 months supply of houses on the market at the
Right.
rate we're selling them. Well, in 09, for example, our softest year, that went up to about a 25-month supply. We're back down to a 7-month supply now. So we're heading toward a much more balanced market.
That's good news,
Yes.
I think. It's nice to see that. I think that's good for both the buyer and seller. We're not really necessarily in a market that is favoring either one, are we?
Not at the moment, but one of our challenges in the business with the consumer is, and this is a joke I say, the buyers are always 6 months in the past when the market's moving up.
Yes.
And the sellers are always 6 months in the future when the market's moving up. So you have an expectation gap that as professional realtors is one of our challenges to manage between buyers and sellers.
So in other words, sell your home in that 3 months right in the middle.
Or try to.
That's kind of the
yeah.
point. Which brings us to another interesting issue. And I've heard this said many times, and I think it's true. You have about roughly 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 at best, from when you get your house in the market to when you better have people looking at it at that price, or you've done something wrong. So let's talk about how long people should expect their house to be on the market, and how that pricing should come about.
You want to go ahead and take that one?
Well, that again, I think is related to the neighborhood that you live in and the price point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that just go by the averages, it's 7 months, days on market, I believe.
Is that right?
7
Park
months
City.
is our city average
Yeah.
right now, yeah.
Wow.
Just citywide, whereas like in Old Town, it's 1.5 months.
Are they seeing buyers within, in Old Town 1.5, that's
Yeah.
what my guess would
Yeah.
be. So
Yeah.
they're seeing buyers pretty quickly, even on
Yeah.
some of those longer term though too, right?
Right.
Because of the process, we're talking typically about 2 months from somebody saying, hey, I want this house, to maybe them closing on it, is that?
Yeah,
would
it
that be
depends on the
accurate?
price point in the area, but yeah, we here in Park City, you set them up for 6 months to 7 months, shorter. If you're under 500, you have a Racket Club condo, which is another hot selling place
Right.
in Park City because it's under 500,000. It's going to sell it quicker, and especially if it's got some updating, which some of these condos, they're showing their age at this point, and then people are taking the HOA fees in account, which are high in
Significant.
some of the areas.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors involved that as professionals we like to sit down with our sellers and talk about. And staging your home, of course, is very important, getting it ready for sale. That's always brings a higher price point too for your home.
Can people expect to get a discount on something that maybe, like you said, maybe we'll talk about Racket Club as an example, where you're right, it needs new paint, it's going to need you're going to need to go in and update carpet, you're going to probably need to even do some work on the walls perhaps, things are, new cabinets, things like that. If that buyer isn't doing that, which I think you suggest, obviously, some of those things are so easy to do
Right.
to bring a value up, but if they don't, can we expect to get a discount, do you think, at that point?
Yeah, well, first impressions when people walk through the door, even at the front door, if they see something that's not been maintained, they're going to discount right off the get-go, just stepping into the door.
Right.
So they're going to ask for it. Whether the seller will agree to it is another story.
Indeed. We have just a moment left, and I just want to kind of take us down this road just a little bit further, because I know a lot of people are still wishing that they could get a hold of something that's distressed. You're not seeing a lot of stuff in the world of distressed, are you?
No, distressed properties have certainly dropped a lot in this marketplace, in particular with the reduction in inventory. So anything that is distressed is going out the door pretty quickly for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I think as of last month, it was less than 1% of our business.
Yeah.
So it's shrunk to a very small
Not
piece of our business.
surprised.
Yeah.
Those things that were in real trouble that were bank owned, they're long gone.
Yes, they are.
And I had some friends that got some pretty good deals. Good grief! I mean, $300,000 on Jeremy Ranch. It's mind-boggling.
Unheard of.
Yeah, you're not going to see that again anytime in the near future. Finally, I just wanted to ask, as being part of the community here, tell me about what the future holds. Can you look in a crystal ball and tell me what we can think about for the next year or so?
Well, I think that we've seen the average sales price increase, I think 11%
Yes.
year
Right.
over year. And I think that the projections is 7 to 12% appreciation, And the sales, we're low in inventory right now.
So it's a good investment right now.
Yeah, it's still
Yes.
a good investment. Interest rates are still low. What are they at, 4.3 or something? Yeah.
Rates are in the low to mid fours depending on the loan program for sure. Rates are terrific. I'm a transplant here from the East Coast, as a lot of people are
Yeah.
out there. So I see this market continuing to grow. It's a great place to live, a great lifestyle here. Just a phenomenal place to work. Obviously, we got a pro-growth state when it comes to business. So I think we're in a great place for the future for sure.
In finality, it seems what we should just say is that you've got great opportunity for prices, and you've got great interest rates that are not going to come back. They're only going to get worse.
Exactly.
All right, websites really quickly for RE/MAX.
ParkCityHomesandLand.com.
All right, and for you.
RepublicMortgage.com.
All right, guys. I want to thank you so very much for being here. Excellent information. I'm sure appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
You
Appreciate
bet.
it.
All right, we'll be back with more right here on the Mountain Morning Show. We're expecting to call in from the Utah Avalanche Center, as well as much more. It's all coming your way right now.